welcome to another video. I wanted to just clarify something about my makeup videos because obviously if you have watched my makeup videos before, you probably know that I kind of use the same products over and over again, and that is because I'm obviously not a makeup artist or a makeup guru. I don't have people sending me products at all, and I also am not a beauty based channel only, so I'm not purchasing products to rate them or purchasing products to really keep up with everything that keeps coming out. I'm a regular consumer. I purchase products that I like, I repurchase products that I like, and I also test out products based on like what catches my eye and what's not like super expensive. That is why my videos feature the same palettes and they also feature the same products, because I genuinely love them, or I purchase them and I want to use them up and actually get the most out of the products that I'm paying good money for, because obviously everything that I have is out of my own pocket or it has been a gift, especially the high-end items. Got them in previous subscription boxes or bags, or I got them as samples from my sister-in-law because she works at Ulta. It's pretty much an intro to my beauty videos if anybody is watching them and wondering why I'm always using the same product. It's because this is my actual makeup collection that I enjoy using and playing around with, and it kind of just inspires me to actually use what I buy. So yeah, today I'm going to be doing another makeup look. I'm gonna try to use a few other things that I also already have. I'm gonna be using my Profusion Confidence palette, and I absolutely love Profusion, which is why I have a lot of their palettes. They are really good quality shadows for the price. They are very powdery, and some shimmer shadows are not the greatest, but for the most part the mattes in here are really good. So this is my Confidence palette. I broke another realistic fact about people that buy makeup is that sometimes the makeup breaks. I wasn't that upset about it because, to be honest, I have never used that shadow, so it was genuinely not my favorite shadow in the palette, but I mostly bought this palette for like the reds, the burgundies, and kind of like the warm tones in here. They're very fall tones, so I am going to be creating another fall look today. Even though it's kind of the end of fall, it is not over. It's not December yet. It hasn't even been Thanksgiving. So I pretty much already primed my T-zone. I use the same mattifying primer from Essence, this one right here, because I genuinely need this on a daily basis. I have a very oily T-zone, but pretty normal everywhere else. So I use that for my T-zone every single time that I want to wear makeup. For the rest of my face today, because I'm going to be using more of a matte foundation, I wanted to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy Primer. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my face. My preference is to add my primers to my face before I go in with my eyeshadow, because I really do like it to actually do its job. I like for it to settle into my pores and everything else, so that by the time I'm ready to do my base, it's ready. It's been primed. It's been simmering on my face so that everything else blends out a lot better. I know a lot of people don't like to do that because of the fallout, and because they don't like to feel like they're wiping away their base if they need to wipe off any fallout. But I don't necessarily put primer in this area right here, so if the makeup ends up falling on my face right there, it's not a big deal to me. And I pretty much avoid my T-zone. I put a little bit on my chin because I like a glowy chin, but sometimes I don't really need to glow there because I already glow there naturally. Moving on to my eyes, I'm going to be using the same LA Girl concealer to prime my lids, and same with my brows. I filled them in a little bit. I know they look kind of dark and crazy, but I'm pretty sure by the time I put the rest of my makeup on, it'll look less intense and it'll look less like a Muppet. I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyelids, and I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in Fair. So the first color I'm gonna go in with from my Confidence palette is gonna be this one right here. This is my favorite transition shade. I actually really like to use that on a regular basis. In the pen, it looks more of a reddish brown, but when I apply it to my eyelid, at least with my skin tone, it ends up looking a little bit more orangey, which I don't mind. I actually really like that color, so I'm gonna go ahead with that color right there. It's called Switch, and I'm gonna use that all over my crease. I'm gonna also try to use affordable brushes because you don't need to spend a lot of money to get good quality stuff. I'm gonna be using my e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush, and I'm gonna be using this not only for my transition shade, but I'm probably gonna be using that all throughout the video to just blend out any color that I add to my eye. e.l.f. brushes are literally the way to go if you're looking for good affordable brushes. I know a lot of people already know that, but in case you did not know, go check them out. Different steps in terms of like the quality of their brushes. They have like their $1 and $2 brushes, they have their $3 and $6 brushes, and then they also have brushes that kind of look like this one right here, and these ones are like more of their higher end brush. It's still pretty affordable, but to me the best ones that I've tried so far have been the second tier, which is the ones that have like the black packaging. Pretty much what my transition shade is looking like. Now to deepen up, does anybody else who speaks 2 different languages or more constantly feel like their tongue is tied between both languages? Because I do that all the time. Like I stutter because I'm trying to say something in English but trying to pronounce it in Spanish, or vice versa, but I don't know if that's just me. So anyway, to deepen up my crease a little bit and my outer V, I'm gonna go in with the color that's right next to it. It's called Fireside, and it's basically like the same color but just a little darker, and it's also a very beautiful shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that to darken up the crease and my outer V, like I already said. So I'm gonna go in with this little brush right here. It's from Urban Studio. I don't know the name or number or whatever of this specific brush, but it came in a set of 3 with 2 other brushes, and it was pretty affordable because I got it at either Marshall's or TJ Maxx. They're basically the same thing to me, so one of those stores I got this. I know that it's kind of a hit or miss with brushes at TJ Maxx and like that kind of store because you can't really feel the brush. It's packaged, and I'm not gonna lie, I am the kind of person that sometimes opens the package a little bit to try to feel the brushes because I value the quality of my products, especially when I'm spending my own money on it. But if you do not feel comfortable doing that, please don't do that, and please don't judge me for doing that. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. Trusting people when they sell things to me. All I'm doing is just stamping on the color to my outer V, and I'm concentrating most of the color on the outer V, and then I'm just gonna slowly try to blend it into the crease. Whenever I'm adding like a more vibrant or darker shade, I don't necessarily tap off the excess because I kind of just want to stamp it on. If I'm doing a color in the crease, I will definitely tap off the excess so that it doesn't put a lot of color there. But on areas that I actually want the color to be bolder, I don't tap off the excess. I just leave it on the brush and then just stamp it on. It kind of helps minimize the amount of times that you have to dip your brush into the palette, but it also minimizes the amount of fallout that you get. So that's just something that I've noticed by doing my own makeup. Okay, so that is what that looks like after I've diffused it. So you can see it is already a little bit darker, and I feel like I can still deepen it up even more. So I'm gonna go in with a 3rd color with the next shade next to it, which is this one right here. And I kind of want to mix these 2 shades because this one is more of like a deeper brown, and this one's more of like a really pretty burgundy one. I go in and just tap into both of these colors, and I'm gonna be using another e.l.f. brush. And this is kind of part of more of their inexpensive brushes, which are like $1 or $2. So yeah, this is the e.l.f. blending eye brush. I'm gonna be tapping on both and just applying that to the very edge of my eye. And as you can see, it creates this really pretty chocolatey burgundy color, which I absolutely love. And all I'm gonna be doing is kind of pretending to create a little bit of a wing, but not fully committing to the wing. And I'm just gonna be tapping it on. I'm gonna go back in with my little e.l.f. blender brush and kind of diffuse that color a little bit. Just gonna go ahead and build up that color to the intensity that I feel looks good. I want to show you the reality of playing with darker colors, especially if you're a beginner, which I don't consider myself a pro, but I've been playing around with makeup enough to know how to fix it to actually make it look decent. So I know this looks really dark and intense and scary and a little bit muddy, but it's pretty much what my makeup ends up looking after I've added colors, especially darker colors, and I've blended it out and made sure that it looks good enough to my liking. So now I'm gonna go in with a lid shade, and that is gonna help brighten up the look a little bit and make it look less intense. I'm gonna be going in with the lightest shade in the palette, which is called Winning. It's that color right there. It has a hint of pink in it, but it's pretty much like a white shade. What I like to do if I don't want to cut my crease is I like to add a lighter shade like this one to the inner part of my eye where I'm going to be putting my lid shade, and kind of just cut my crease without using concealer or anything else. And that kind of helps brighten up that area and make the look a little bit less intense, and I kind of see it as like an eraser. And as you can see, all I'm doing is using my finger, which costs literally nothing if you have fingers, of course. Pretty much the most affordable, best tool you could use. And as you can see already, it's like there was never really dark eyeshadow in the middle of my lid. That's a pretty good indicator as to how pigmented and beautiful these shadows are. You could literally put it on top of a darker shade and it's like there's nothing there, you know, it's like pretty good stuff. Okay, so now that I pretty much have my lid ready for a shimmer color, I'm gonna go in. I'm trying really hard not to use any other palette. I know there's so many beautiful colors in the other palettes that I've used that could go really well with this look, but because I'm trying to keep it affordable and I'm trying to only use one palette, I'm gonna go in with the color called Mascot. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that right above the previous shadow, kind of just to create more of a glow. You notice that that one isn't as glittery or intense as I would like it to be, so I'm just gonna go in with this other shimmery color that's called Supple, and I'm gonna try to build that on top. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up the edges with my fluffy crease brush. This is another little eraser. I actually kind of like how it looks at the moment, but because I want the outer edge of my eye and the middle of my eye to blend a little bit better, I am gonna go in with a darker shimmer shade. I think I'm gonna go in with this one called Power Up. It's kind of like a mixture of these two shades together but with glitter. I'm gonna take that shade and apply it to the center of my lid for the outer part of my eye to kind of mix it a little bit better with the darker burgundy chocolate colors. I'm gonna go in with the next shimmer shade, which is called Valiant, which is that one right there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in the very edge of my lid and kind of mix it a little bit with the previous shade because I don't want it to be extremely orange or different from the rest of the colors. I just kind of want like a gradient effect. And to kind of blend those two colors together, I'm gonna go in with that same blending brush that I used, deepen up the outer V and crease, and I'm just kind of blending the edges of the colors both in the crease and also next to each other. This is pretty much what my eyes are looking like. I kind of just want to leave them be for now because every time I do my makeup I always notice something that I need to fix as I'm doing the rest of my makeup. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if you are already done with your eyes and you're pretty much moving on to the rest of your face and you notice that there's something that you don't 100% like, you can always go back and change it. For foundation, I'm gonna go in with my LA Girl Pro Matte HD Longwear Matte Foundation, and I've actually used this in the past. It's actually the foundation that I would use before I discovered the L'Oreal one. I'm in the color Natural, and I'm using my e.l.f. sponge to, and I'm using, I forgot how full coverage this was on me. Literally don't need as much foundation with this one that I do with my L'Oreal one. I completely forgot. I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit because I kind of feel like it's a little bit more yellowy than the rest of my skin. So today I'm gonna be using a different concealer than what I usually prefer. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. It's in the shade Light Nude. I honestly prefer my e.l.f. concealer and LA Girl combo a lot better than this. I have used this in the past and I actually don't mind it, but I kind of feel like my e.l.f. concealer creases way less on me than this one does in other concealers that I've used. But this is still not a bad concealer and I still want to give it another shot, especially with like a different foundation and powder combo. This is what the concealer looks like with just the amount that I applied on camera. But I kind of still see a little bit of darkness in this area here and in that area, so that's why I like the other combo better. But all I'm gonna do is just add a little bit more because, like I said, I want to use this product up and actually give it a fair shot. And also I'm adding a little bit more in this area too because, again, I have darkness there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set the concealer, and again I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me powder and an e.l.f. concealer brush. So I did go in and set the rest of my face with the same Fit Me powder and a fluffy brush. I'm just going to go ahead and use the same Physicians Formula bronzer. It's not necessarily the cheapest bronzer out there, but it is pretty inexpensive, so I'm still using it today. I just wanted to point out that dewy primer from Wet n Wild, this Photo Focus one right here, actually still comes through even after applying a very matte foundation and powder on top. Like, you can still see kind of like a radiance or like glow, especially on my chin. So I pretty much already did my bronzing slash contouring, but moving on to blush. Little rose on it, and it is from Milani. It is their Romantic Rose Powder Blush. I'm gonna go ahead and use another e.l.f. brush. This is actually a highlighter brush. You can use it for any other type of powder. And the way that I like to add blush is I like to add it kind of like I do my bronzer. Kind of enhances my cheekbones a little bit. And this is a pretty subtle blush. Like, I can barely see it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to blush because it's better to be able to build it up. So for highlighter, I'm going to be using my Essence Pure Nude highlighter. I've had this for quite some time and I still have a lot of product in it. I accidentally broke mine and I was very upset because I thought it was going to go everywhere, but so far it's still intact, so that's good. I try to like take good care of it even though it's broken. This is my favorite highlighter whenever I want to have more of a subtle highlight and more like of a glow. It's not going to be very intense whatsoever, but just kind of like that glow that I got from the primer. It kind of creates the same thing but with powder, which is what I love about it. And this brush is actually pretty beaten up too. It's from Wet n Wild. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face, and unfortunately I forgot my favorite affordable setting spray. I usually use the e.l.f. Setting spray. I'll put it right here. It's actually really good. Like, I feel like even compared to like my Urban Decay All-Nighter, which I'm gonna be using today, even compared to this one, it works a lot better and it keeps me matte for longer. So I highly recommend that setting spray, and it's only $8, so it's definitely affordable. But because I don't have that setting spray, I'm just gonna go ahead and set my face real quick and I'll be right back. So I went ahead and added some lashes. These are Ardell Wispy lashes. They are pretty affordable and I usually only get them from Walmart on clearance or rollback at Walmart for like $5.97, $98, something like that. They were a lot cheaper than they usually are everywhere else. I also did use my Kiss adhesive, and that's the only lash glue that I actually really like because I don't feel like it really damages my lashes. That is everything that I have done so far. I did want to go ahead and set my eyebrows. Sometimes when I don't have a brow gel and I just want my eyebrows to stay in place, I just use more of a dry formula mascara. So I'm just gonna wipe off the excess product because I don't want my eyebrow hairs to curl and do whatever this mascara claims it's supposed to do. And I just lightly set my brows with it. I don't want to keep adding product. I just do one layer of that and then I just go in with a spoolie, a clean spoolie. This one's from e.l.f. as well. And I just comb the product through my brows. I don't necessarily recommend doing this if you have lighter hair. Like if you're blonde or something like that, you can probably use like brown mascara. But if you feel like it's a little too dark, I would just go in with a little bit of powder on top, like translucent powder, and it'll calm it down a little bit. Continuing on my eyes, I do want to go ahead and clean up underneath my brow, and usually what I like to use for my little eraser technique is I just use a small little pencil brush like this one. This one's from Morphe. I can either use a highlighter or just one of the shimmer shadows in the palette and kind of clean up this area right here. Not only does this highlight your brow bone like everybody and their moms likes to do, but it also kind of cleans up the eyeshadow if you've taken it too far up. My lower lash line, I don't necessarily want to put more shadow underneath my lower lash line because I want my eyes to still look pretty big, and putting shadow underneath there doesn't look bad. I mean, if you're looking for more of a night look, a little bit more of a smoky look, then totally add shadow underneath your eyes. Or if you're trying to like conceal a lot of creasing underneath. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of this NYX Wander pencil in medium. It's supposed to be both a concealer and just like a brightening pencil. I like to put this in the waterline whenever I feel like my eye looks too dark and I want my eyes to pop a little bit more. I've actually never used this to try to conceal a blemish like it says that you can. I mostly just use it in the waterline. This pencil is also really nice for when you add mascara to your bottom lashes and you accidentally get mascara in your waterline. Some people like to do that because it's kind of like a 2-for-1. It works as eyeliner and as mascara, but like I mentioned, sometimes I just like the clean look underneath my eye, so this kind of helps remove that. So for lips, I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade Flesh. I don't know why that name kind of creeps me out a little bit. This is a really beautiful color, but I feel like it's a little too light for the look that I'm going for. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use another LA Girl lip liner in Bare and kind of deepen it up a little bit, especially around the edges. And lately I have been connecting my Cupid's bow because I have noticed while editing videos that my upper lip is kind of lopsided, so this kind of helps it look a little bit more like the same shape. And on top, I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl matte flat velvet lipstick in Snuggle. I changed my mind. I kind of do want to add a little bit of a shadow underneath my eye. Now that I'm looking at everything all together, I kind of feel like I am missing a little bit of color underneath there. And that's kind of back to what I had said previously, how like you can always go back to your eyes after you've done everything else, because then you kind of see a better picture of how everything looks together, and there's nothing wrong with changing your mind later on. So I think I'm just gonna go in with this little e.l.f. brush. This is a eyeshadow brush. That's literally what it's called. And I'm just gonna use it with the, I think I'm gonna go with Fireside, this color right here. I'm just gonna smudge it underneath my lash line. I'm not being super precise with this. I'm literally just like moving my brush back and forth, and I'm not going all the way in. I'm kind of just staying on that outer edge of my eye just to match what I have going on at the top. These lashes look really good with the eye look just the way that they are right now, but if I wanted to make them a little bit bolder and stand out more because of how dark my shadow is, I could always go in with mascara, which is another thing that I love to do with the wispies. I like to treat them like they are my actual lashes and add more mascara depending on what kind of look I'm going for. Obviously you can actually buy fuller, more dramatic lashes, but those tend to be a little bit more expensive, I've noticed. Like they tend to be $5 to $10 at the drugstore. So I'd rather just use lashes that I already own and intensify them to the way that I want. I actually really like how this makeup look has turned out. I think that it looks really good. And I was able to stick, minus the setting spray, which I honestly prefer the affordable version versus the higher end version. Pretty much just used all affordable brushes, all affordable products, and I used a palette that I have had for quite some time. That makes it sound like I've had it for years, but no, I used a palette that I've had for quite a while, and I still love the quality of the palette. I still feel like I can do so many different looks with it. Just wanted to show you that you can use the same products that you already own. You don't need to be buying products that come out every single week. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you have the means for it and that's your passion, then go ahead and buy the makeup that you want. But personally, I do not have the means to be buying every single product that comes out. So I like to focus on the products that I already own, or even just repurchase products I already like. I do like to try new things. It's not that I don't like to test out new products. It's just that I feel like I already have enough makeup at the moment, still create really beautiful looks. So that is what I want to do with my beauty videos. But like I mentioned, I don't just do makeup videos. I like to do them because they are a form of like therapy for me. I like doing my makeup. I like recording it and feeling like I am talking to somebody else as I'm doing them, and if somebody is actually getting useful tips and information from the way that I do my makeup, then that makes me happy too. But I also do vlogs on my channel, and yeah, I pretty much take you through my struggles and through my days. So if you like what you watched today and you would like to get to know me a little bit better, definitely check out my vlogs and definitely check out my other videos. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.